Is being Deft Wing the aerial equivalent of being fleet of foot? Yes, y'all, today we're taking a look at G2 Deft Wing. I call him G2 Deft Wing, he might very well be the G1 one, but I've got no way to tell. We'll get on to that. Yeah, I felt like it's time to give this guy a bit of love, because there's no way to tell exactly how long he's going to be sticking around in one piece. Because this chubby little blue boy here is probably the prime candidate in my collection for succumbing to the dreaded gold plastic syndrome, because, well, look at that. His entire torso and backbone, all this, it's all gold plastic, and it's from 1993. It's as old as me, and it's kind of scary, and I feel like, yeah, I've got to do a video about him before he just crumbles to dust. So who is Deft Wing? Have you ever heard of him? No? Chances are, no, probably not. He's one of the light formers, like Iron Fist, the famous one, from that very back end of Euro G1, not G2 necessarily, not necessarily G2, from one of the old G1.5 rosters of weird, really nicely coloured, properly, excellently light-piped fellows. That same sort of vintage as Rotorstorm and Flash and Stalker and all those really cool guys that you wish would get an update soon because they just look the best, don't they? And then he got put into Generation 2 with absolutely no changes whatsoever, just the fact that he came in Generation 2 box a year later. So I very well might be holding a G1 Deft Wing here, but you know, there's no difference between G1 or G2 ones, so I'm just going to call him G2 because I'm very, very short on actual vintage G2 figures. I've got more updates than actual G2 figures. Straight off the bat, yes, I am missing the giant, like, periscope gun placement thing that he would have, that he would stand there and point at people and you could look down. It does like this weird kind of arcade laser show thing. Yeah, I don't have that, but I've got to be perfectly honest with you. I like any integration that it has with the actual action figure you're buying is totally minimal, so I can live without it. I'm good, thanks. So without the big gimmick box that gives him his light former name, what can Deft Wing do? He can move his arms, vaguely scarily, because of course they're attached to all of this gold plastic up here, and they have gold plastic in them. He can do a sort of pose where he's like a stout man gripping the edges of his waistcoat. I respect that. And his legs will go outward and do that annoying inward bendy knee thing that I have lived with for many years on many of my favourite figures, so it's something to complain about, let's be honest, but you know, he's G1. All he really needs to do is move his arms and look good, and I think he does that. Swathed as he is in this kind of like eggshell blue kind of stuff, and the really, really like hot pink neon accents, it looks good, I like it. So he's got a bit of a kind of drooping seeker body on the go here, with the cockpit ending up somewhere around his belly, and his legs are just basically planks. Like, he hasn't even got any feet. I feel like he's a good enough looking robot, really. Yes, his wings kind of do weird things. They move like that. They move like that. For no reason at all. And it's a bit of a weird way to put wings on a robot there, just stuck on the sides of his arms. Like, are they like blades? Could you imagine those like sides or something? But they don't even go all the way down to his hands. What you're really here for with this robot mode is his light piping. Proper early 90s radioactive peepers on this boy. I love it. 1993 really did give you the best head sculpts ever. So that's Deft Wing's robot mode. Not really as much to talk about with him when he hasn't got his accessory that's as big as himself. But if you are itching to arm him up, his hands do work to the second best weapon system in Transformers. They are 3mm compatible, so I'm sure there's some stuff you've got that you can stick in his mitts. Should we look at a jet now? Transformation is pretty unorthodox when you think about G1 jets. Yes, his chest is made of the nose cone and the cockpit, but where everything else goes is just a bit weird, a bit odd. And somehow there's a lot of potential for stuff to just get in the way of everything else as you're doing it. But once you get there, you've just got this lovely little bright blue, chubbiest Harrier jump jet you've ever seen. Of course, the ever-glowing cockpit is like a visual centre point, but really, there's a lot to enjoy in this mode. I didn't talk about stickers on his wings in robot mode because really, they're here for this mode and they add so much colour. The pink, the yellow, the thunderbolt, the star, I love it. What a good decal that is. He's got some more on his tail fin and he's got some more around the front. Hazard striping, which is kind of cool, very 90s. Yes, if you're eagle-eyed, he is missing some on his robot mode, but I feel like he's got all the necessary ones for his alt mode to just add a really nice lot of detail and pop and colour, and that kind of radical 90s vibe that you would never get on a real jet fighter. No matter how many die-cast pullback motorised jet planes I had from the 90s that looked like this. It's got a little 3mm port on the top there as well, which would have been for the big gun box, and of course, again, you can stick some other old gun on there if you want to, but why clutter it up? This is one of like the tidiest and tightest G1 jets you're probably going to see. Everything tucks away nicely in what is an appropriately kind of thicker undercarriage for a Harrier jump jet. Got all the little engine bits on the side picked out in gold. I like how you've got the really big intakes around the front and the two little pink like lights. Are they lights on his nose cone? Around the back he has actually got like afterburner engine outtake, the bit the thrust comes out of detailing. And you can get some landing gear on the go, although the ones on the back don't really fold up as to just like flail around in the wind as he's flying. I don't know what's going on here. So that's Deft Wing. Pretty much just a kind of average nobody, but at the same time, a really special little piece. He's certainly not next in line for a masterpiece for a Generations update or anything like that. But that layer of obscurity I think really like adds to his appeal. Before I got him, I didn't know he even existed. So it's that kind of bot that I really quite like. So he's a little bit rickety and he doesn't really do very much. But by the simple virtues of his light piping and his precarious existence, I'm very happy to have him, and I feel like I've never really taken that much time to properly appreciate him. So I'm sorry, Deftwing, if your torso wants to turn into a pile of powder overnight, well, I let you go.